but
Time in, 0-0-2.
Meghan Dizon there for the counter attack. And Meghan Dizon seems settled into the lineup at this point in Orlando. There was a lot of talk about Meghan, even though she's one of the best in the game as well, just how she would fare playing next to Anna Leigh.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a great partnership. Again, someone that just kind of wanted to, being next to Anna Leigh, you can absorb so much. I mean, her game has risen just in the 6 weeks they've been together. Her game has gone further than it had in the last year, I'd say. So being around Leigh, being around Anna Leigh, you can just absorb so much. And like you said, they've got some stuff on social, you know, podcasts. Definitely worth a listen, just to get inside their mind and how they see the game.
Nice drive. Waters scooches over.
Side out.
Too much court, leaves an open corner that Kaitlyn Christian finds. And after this point, love to know your insight there of just specifically where you've seen Meghan's game
0-2-1.
even more so improved than you saw before.
Yeah, just
nice.
There's one.
Attacking off
right?
the bounce.
Yeah, attacking off the bounce, right? Taking a little pace off. Just a lot of the nuanced stuff, not over swinging, especially in the hands battles. We can get excited when it gets fast, but at the highest level, the ladies, especially, they have an understanding of just because the point's fast doesn't mean you need to be fast, right? So staying composed within the speed of that game is something I've noticed already.
Ooh, I think that ball was...
yeah, she looked at it again. I think it was a little bit out, but again, a little bit on Anna Leigh there too. She's got a little better angle just looking east to west there, so she could have called it as well.
Ooh, just deep for Waters. Had exactly what she wanted.
Yep.
Side out for Carolina.
Yeah, smart lead. I think the game plan for the Hogs is honestly to get outside of Anna Leigh Waters, right? The strategy is usually avoid her backhand at all costs, but you can tell she's getting pretty big in the middle here. If they could find her leaning in at some point and just kind of bumping it behiend her, I think they're going to find a lot of success using that.
So fine to catch her off balance, though, it seems.
Well, it's impossible, yeah. I mean, you're just kind of hoping
even when she
time.
is off balance, she seems to recover more so than other players.
Yeah, and that's the nuance, right? Understanding that no matter what, no matter how out of control the point is, no matter how out of position you are, you always have an opportunity to reset in the kitchen, get back in a good position, and you know, just keep playing a neutral point.
ATP is short for Tamaryn Emmrich.
Yeah, she had it. Definitely the right play. Just didn't get enough top on it. I had a good time talking to her actually earlier about some of her successes in WTA tennis.
What'd you learn?
Some of the players she's battled. Wins over Wozniacki and Svitolina.
Wow. Pull from Waters.
Yeah, great pull from on Kaitlyn, moving left to right there, catches it behind her. Tamaryn Emmrich, though, best player she said she's ever played. Iga Swiatek. Obvious reason, former or current, maybe #1 in the world. Definitely in the top 3, semifinalist at French. And KK, really well established. I didn't get to ask her the same questions, but.
There's that journalism objectivity, JJ.
I know. I don't know where she was. No, that's a fun.
Wow, what a ball from Tamaryn Emmrich.
I like that. It's smart, right? Fake ATP, go cross court. Gets the fives leaning to their right, and you don't see that very often. A fake ATP. She has having a little laugh about that one.
Second serve. Zero, 4-2. Point.
So the intent was to attack off the bounce for Dizon. Gets caught top of the tape. The Johns brothers await their men's doubles game against Howells and Zane Navratil. What's your inclination there?
That'll be a fun matchup. I think that's a team that plays directly into the Johns strategy, right? Howells and Zane, they don't give you a lot to work with. We had a long battle with them earlier. Just they're not giving us much to work with. We decided to do the same. But for Ben and Collin, they're more than happy to get the dink rally, right? So that's a men's match that the Hogs have to have, in my opinion.
Nice drive from Meg. Ooh.
Second serve.
First attempt takes a ride off the tape. Second serve now for the New Jersey Fives.
I played her in mixed earlier. She didn't miss a single one of those. I don't know. That's always the case.
It seems to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. She just can't get a freebie from her.
He did get to play with Leigh Waters for a season in Major League Pickleball, though. Talkback Diamonds back in the day.
That I did. Unfortunately, it was cut short. We had about an event and a half together before the third one was smartly. Third one was canceled, sadly, right? We went straight to playoffs. It was a little weird end of the season, 2023, I think. But no, she is
1-4-1.
She's a cheat code. I'll say that.
Did you feel pressure playing alongside her?
Yeah, I mean, there's pressure, but like, I mean, if you lose, nobody's gonna die, right? It's like this is pickleball, So, it just depends where you're at in your game, right? Had been playing a while at that point, so I was pretty confident in my game. If you're newer and still have a lot of questions about what you're doing, looking at it off the tape, good sorry from Tammy. But yeah, if you're not secure in your game, there's definitely a lot of pressure. But I think at this point, everyone's so established, and we're all working hard and working every day to be at this sport. So short answer is yes.
Second serve.
Patient point there for Dizon and Waters. Well, because if you lose, everyone's looking at you, right?
For sure. I mean, but it's MLP, right? It's a one-game sample size. Yeah. Everyone kind of understands that anything can happen. I think we had I know we lost one for sure, but had some tight matches. And she's just so easy to trust. Anna Leigh calling the foot fault there. Speaking of knowing the game as good as anyone. Looks like Kaitlyn took one off the bounce and then didn't reestablish.
4-3-1.
Drive from Waters.
Yeah. Smart spot, right? Tammy really favors her backhand, so getting it on her right hip there, making her hit a forehand.
5-3-1.
Hogs electing to stay. I think this is in respect to Meghan's serve, right? She can crank it. Switched on that one, but unlucky off the net cord. So
Meghan Dizon and the New Jersey Fives with a 6-3 lead on the Carolina Hogs. Leigh Waters, most dominant player in the world. Another good bounce there for Carolina. And a few off the tape, but they'll take it.
6-3-2.
Tape's been active on grandstand. I'll tell you what, there was a ton of them today. I don't know what was going on today, but
thumbs up. She's on it. Oh, in the strike zone of Waters. Rarely misses that one. Apologizes to Dizon after missing a sitter.
Yeah, got away with one there, did Kaitlyn, but really good point construction. I loved how she was mixing it up, right? Going to different spots.
That's what he said. Yeah, she just gets them back to neutral like that.
Yeah, it was I mean, she made the reset look effortless. Good little blitz from the Hogs. Just too good a defense from the Fives.
3-6-2.
Waters has talked a lot about Meghan Dizon's reach.
Yep.
And the length that she brings to the table to complement Waters.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's if you have 5'9" and above, you can develop some last length strength, in the wrist. Last length strength.
6-3-1.
We like to call it, right? When you're reaching out, last link is the wrist is your last link, so to speak. So when you're reaching out, and you're
Second
able to
serve.
generate power from that flick of the wrist, it's a huge advantage. A lot of the girls are
6-3-2.
starting to improve on that.
Waters eating the gals alive.
Yeah, she wants to go fast and hard, right? She's always been that way. And again, I think she might know that Tammy's a little bit
7-3-2.
uncomfortable on the left here. See if they switch. They do.
Nice counter from Dizon through the middle.
Yeah, they've been getting away with a couple of those, right? Tammy's strength is really sitting with that backhand in the middle. I'd like for her to maybe cheat a little, a half step more to the middle. That's a ball that she's can sit on a little bit.
Side out.
Kaitlyn maybe recognizing there's a little bit of a hole there, so covers it with the forehand. But again, Tammy's real strength. If she can pull that middle ball outside of Leigh, that's going to be huge.
Just wide.
Second serve.
Hung in the fight, but not enough.
Again, really composed, really structured deep from the
3-8-2.
fives, making it look easy.
Side out. Eight, 3-1. Point.
Don't have to do too much with it. Waters, a perfect display of that. Just shows so much shape to her.
9-3-1.
Dinks even.
Yeah, gets a lot, super low to high. Just a couple errors again. So, I mean, shockingly, I'm getting some stats, some real clear stats. Would you be shocked to hear that the Hogs have actually won more of the kitchen rallies in this match than have the fives?
I would be shocked to hear that.
Well, that's true. I'm telling you that right now.
Wow.
That means, right?
That
means it's coming down to missing, missing serves. We haven't seen that, but missing returns, missing force, right? Fives are driving their third and crashing, right? Giving up a point like that. But when they're at the kitchen, this has been a very even match.
Point number 2 here for the fives. 2 game points saved the other way. To your point about the kitchen rallies.
Yeah, 50. It was 57% to the Hogs. Went down to 53 now, but a little off the nose there from KK.
She'll take it.
Right, most of the fans here, of course, supporting the local Florida girl.
4-10-1.
Also, the fives do a great job bringing fans down, decked out in their clown gear.
Second serve.
Just misses one off the tape there, but very pro fives crowd.
4-10-2.
So,
yes.
Hogs looking for a few claps on the.
Very strong fan base. A little quieter, though, without Ryan Harwood on the bench. He was celebrating his lovely wife's birthday this weekend.
Is that what it was? I didn't know.
Big 40th birthday.
Yeah, I envisioned him all weekend just sitting on the couch thinking about flying out at some point.
10-4-1.
Fortunately, he'll be back for the midseason, I assume.
Nice strip there from Waters.
Stop, Leigh. You gotta be kidding me.
Wow, what a point. Game sealed. Fives take it with the best point of the match so far. 11-4, fives up.
Game 2,
yeah, they do.
0-0-2.
But then on your team, you expect to at least get 2 game wins, as is same to be true with Leigh Waters on your squad.
Yeah, well, that's how their teams have been constructed since day one, right?
Yep.
You get a GOAT, you build a good Dream Breaker team, you win at least 2 your doubles match, maybe hope to get a third, but either way, you have a strong singles lineup in your back pocket. Hogs are, I think, 1-0 in the breaker this weekend.
0-0-2.
Fives, if I'm not mistaken. No, they've lost 1 breaker, but they lost one against Utah, but that was Sans sans Meghan.
1-0-2.
So both strong singles lineups.
Nice ball from Ben Johns. Lots of handle, and that's a big reason why that backhand is tough.
When he leans in, I tell you what, sometimes you have no idea where it's going. Sometimes you have to just back off and just bump it back into the kitchen. Like you don't even try to counter it because you just don't know sometimes.
Side out.
Reset king in Collin Johns that typically doesn't miss, but he has added a lot of offense to his game as well. Haven't seen it a ton yet to start this one.
Yeah. Part of the fall of the dynasty, I think, was Collin was just getting too passive, right? In 2025, though, you have to have something from the right side.
Wow, and Howells goes toe-to-toe with Ben Johns. They're on the board, and the Fives fans get wild.
Fives love it. Howells' hands, I mean, we don't get to see much of it, but he pulls that two-hander off of his hips so well. Almost blocks his body with the two-hander. I mean, I don't know how he does it.
And another tie game early for the Fives. And so, talk about the logic of expecting to get a game win on each side with your best player involved, Ben and Anna Leigh. So, in order to get a regulation win, New Jersey would have to get a game off Ben, whether that be now or in mixed. So, pressure falls on the shoulders of these fellas or Meghan Dizon and Zane Navratil.
Yeah, Hogs came out really strong. Honestly, they got a win against the Ranchers going down 0-2. So a Ben loss, but they still pulled it out. I spoke to Collin earlier a little bit. He was proud of the way that their mix has played this weekend. Him and KK going 3-2 so far. So that's provided a little bit of momentum for this team that's still trying to kind of find its way. Johns brothers dink middle. That was what worked for us earlier.
Why did that work?
Silly get from Collin there, first of all. But again, Howells, we don't see him so often. You forget that he has that Ernie, right? Even coming from that middle dink, he can jump that corner. So
3-2-1.
Ben's going to remember that one. I don't think he'll give it to him again.
Keeping the Johns brothers back to the baseline. Annalie Waters and Meghan Dizon discuss what they're seeing on their bench.
Yeah, what are they talking about over there? Chumming it up a little bit, talking about, who knows, maybe dessert tonight.
There's the team headed this evening. Well, don't tell us for safety purposes.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm invited. I don't get invited to those things.
You weren't invited last night to team dinner we hear. Why?
I was shunned because I was playing them today. I mean, come on, Blake.
4-2-2.
Oh, he's just so good at that patented shot. 5-2 for Carolina.
Again, that's what we talked about coming into this, right? Ben against Zane, that flick is so
5-2-2.
disguised. You just don't know the pace. You don't know the location.
Side out.
The winning touch gets caught in the nets. Ball back to the Fives in a three-point hole.
Yeah, try to get out the door there and get the switch with a little off the bounce. Not Ben's favorite shot, right? They're super patient. They wait for their moments to take it out of the air, but
2-5-1.
Wow, that's too good. Will Howells goes around Collin Johns.
Yeah. And that's why you work the middle of the court there, right? Howells is so much more dangerous off of his two-hander, off of his backhand, right? Forehand is way less innocuous. Did I use that word correctly? So thinking middle, work that middle of the court. You don't want Howells to get hot with his backhand. Jesus, I'm sorry. Incredible pace from Ben on the backhand.
Second serve.
And Will Howells throws it away.
Yeah, I mean, the pace from Ben's flick is insane. Howells fended it like it was nothing. And then, again, the Johns force you into so many mistakes. This is really a battle of two patient teams. Who can be the most patient? Keep those errors, unforced errors, low.
Johns brothers, to me, seem like the most patient team in this matchup, but across the board in men's doubles.
Yeah.
They'll outweight anybody.
By
They
3-1.
really wear you down. It can make you go crazy sometimes. At the same time, new age pickleball, gotta have some offense to your game.
Oh my, same corner
Disgusting.
3 times. Ben Johns establishing real estate.
Time
The
in.
contrary, Carolina's point
6-1.
differential -130. Yikes.
Numbers are a little bit skewed, right? Johns brothers pulling out of Columbus, so
That's
a lot
a good point.
of matches
That's a good reminder.
included there with substitutes, but still trying to find
6-3-2.
some wins. They found 2 this weekend, but yeah, Hogs still sitting in 16th place on the season.
Wow.
Come on.
Ridiculous defense from Collin Johns. Couldn't pay it off.
Got 2, but not 3. But yeah, CJ, I mean, a world-class defender, always has been, works on that.
3-6-1.
I mean, with the one hand, too. I promise you, that's harder to do than it looks. That's heavy.
I'd say so. Hit
Second
with
serve.
purpose.
Lob nearly caught the light fixture, though. We haven't, I don't know that we've seen one yet. Catch the
3-6-2.
roof structure. Sometimes you throw it up in the lights, though, and good things happen.
Point.
The run here for the fives.
Yeah, rare miss. Again, we talked about how consistent these teams are. Real clear stats.
4-6-2.
Shot accuracy, Hogs are at 93%, Fives are at 92%. That's how
Side out.
that's how dialed and how clean both of these teams play.
I expected a little more
6-4-1.
redlining from Zane and Will per the style that Navratil has utilized to beat the Johns brothers on the PPA Tour, a la 2023, I believe it was.
That's right, the one with Alshon and Austin, right? Look at Ben, he's just salivating for another backhand he can send at Zane. Howells has to be careful, make sure that thing bounces if he's going to go outside Ben. Make sure it bounces.
Yep, it did not, and that is exactly playing to your point.
Yeah, again, I mean he picks a new spot like every time too, right? He hasn't gone up and over the left shoulder of Zane yet, right?
7-4-1.
Howells just was late there getting with his forehand. That's what makes him so tough. New spot, new location, new speed. He changes it up better than anyone.
Ooh.
Point.
Point for the Johns brothers. Missed ATP from Will Howells. Hogs with the 8-4 advantage on the New Jersey Fives, making this a match. Gonna tie it up 1 game apiece.
I think we're gonna as I spoke,
Come again?
as I spoke, I was about to say, I think you're going to see a lot of patient points like this. I didn't know when to say it, but Howells takes a shot. Collin right there with a counter again. Unsuspecting. CJ, you think he's sleeping for a second? He fires it right back at Zane.
For Zane Navratil out of the air. Second serve for the Hogs.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a 9-4 point bend, trying some things, trying to get aggressive on the dinks. Like I said, I think you're going to see a lot of super patient points the rest of the way here. It just...
Howells attacks off the bounce. That's an aspect of his game, to your point earlier about Annalie Waters, that playing alongside her in mixed has inspired his game in that category.
Yeah. Now, we've seen Annalie, we've seen a kind of a new person come in and really thrive next to Annalie, right? She makes it so easy on you. You don't ever feel like you have to do too much. And him and Howells have been on a little bit of a run here. Probably only one loss on the year. One against the Ranchers, actually, but that match was already over. I know they beat me today. That's all I know. I'm glad it started raining, so all the patrons left.
Second serve.
We had a big crowd, and I'm just getting my butt whipped, and then everyone leaves at like 3-1. I'm like, thank God nobody's gonna watch this.
What was the final?
We don't need to talk about that, Michelle. It might have been 11-1 though.
Next pole, Will Howells burns Collin Johns down the line. Five starting to surge offensively.
Yeah, that's his best shot, right? Keeps it super low, super good low to high. Motion for Will there.
5-9-2.
They haven't gone there for a reason, right? They brought a little bit of lapse in strategy, but you want to avoid Will's backhand.
Collin loves the leg cord, and Will Howells hits a winner off of it.
Yeah, a little bit lucky there again. Collin
6-9-2.
not going to be thrilled with that, but Ben and Collin, historically, they really just don't take timeouts, right?
No, we don't. Even though Zane Navratil finally beats Ben Johns to his corner. And don't look now, but the Fives need 2 to tie this up at 9 apiece.
Yeah, this is the best way for the Fives to capitalize, right? Serve and shake and bake.
Chaos.
Chaos, right? Yeah, those first 5 shots are so key when they get into this battle. I give the edge to the Johns, right?
Yeah. You can't beat them out digging them, in my estimation of it. I think Zane has said that out loud as well. You've got to create the chaos, which I believe the Fives have done the last couple of points.
Absolutely, a couple short points, but
9-7-1.
tight score here. If both teams get to the kitchen, that's when I think we'll see those patient points.
Again, attacking off the bounce, because when the Johns brothers had their reign over the sport, i.e. like 33 plus titles on the PPA Tour, it's when the dink battles were the icon of men's doubles. Still the case, but the dynasty broke up, as you pointed out, due to the offensive surge of the right side players.
A little funny, I think Collin was
10-7-2.
He was mocking a point in the court that he didn't think bounced right.
Uh-oh.
He might besmirch the ball here a little bit too. Good as a Howell though. A little bit of some forehand pulls off the bounce, right? I think he earned two or three out of 4 of those. Ball back here. I think you're going to see some shake and bake. That seems to be working. Drive at Collin. See if he can give you a free volley.
That's the attempt. Middle of the net, though, for Will Howells on that miss. Second serve, Zane Navratil.
Gotta make your opponent hit the 4th, right? When in doubt, sacrifice pace, make him hit it.
Hit from Navratil, not enough to make Ben Johns go away. Game point number 2 for the Hogs.
Expect this return to come to Collin. They're going to try and make him hit another 3rd. The Johns can get to the kitchen, though. I think you get in on Zane.
Second serve.
Right, Will's pulling off the bounce right now. If you're going to leave a floaty third, make sure that goes to Zane.
10-7-2. Side out.
Big rip the other way into the net. 3-game point saved by the Fives.
Yeah, and again, we just talked about it. Make your opponent hit that fourth, right? I think the Johns, maybe the ball, like we said, the Vulcan can kind of come out around late in the game, right? We don't change balls till after the game. The ball's probably a little wobbly, but have to make your opponent hit that fourth at least. Be surprised how many free errors you can get sometimes.
Oh, Zane Navratil follows up the Ernie. Pressure of Will Howells makes it 8-10. Fives with a chance to tie it on this service possession. Take another look. So quick around the corner is Will Howells. Wait to the last moment to do it. Point. Will Howells sends it deep. Second serve now for the Fives.
Just a battle of will, right? That's what the Johns make you do.
That's right. I don't think New Jersey's winning on those points. So how do you create chaos when the Johns give you nothing to work with?
I mean, yeah. I mean, once you get to the kitchen, right, you're kind of stuck, right? I mean, you can throw up a lob and try and move them off the kitchen, right? A lob over Collin has been historically a pretty good option.
Big lob guy in here. Jay Kohler.
Everyone knows that. I probably need to shut up about it, right?
No.
I hype it up.
I think it's interesting. It's
interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, you look at the best lobbers of the game and the chaos it creates, especially in women's doubles. Leigh Jones, Santa Bright.
Yeah, a lot of starting to be really embraced in women's.
And Johns blows up Will Howells to close it out on game point number 4. We're even 1 game apiece.
Whoa, 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 Pickleballers. Major League Pickleball is coming to San Clemente June 26th to the 29th. You do not want to miss it. Get your tickets at majorleaguepickleball.co.
Either way, Zane and Meghan are, this is going to be a tight match, I think. Zane and Meghan played unreal earlier. They kind of blew our Hustler team off the court, 11-2. So if they play like that,
and this mixed doubles team, really coming together. What's special about these two coming together here?
Yeah, well, Meg just bring, I'm obviously biased, but she brings a ton of firepower from the right. That's sometimes hard to find, and it works well with Zane because he's not that dominating mixed player, right? Just super consistent.
Oh, from the floor, Zane Navratil still almost got the counter. Lowest scorpion we've ever seen.
He always brings some fun, doesn't he, right? usually cashes in on a fun point. A good highlight, that would have been it for sure. But Zane's mixed style, right? Super consistent. Does the right thing at the right time. And having a girl that can do that, it's a Grand Canyon difference.
0-1-2.
Tamaryn Emmrich every time. It is tough to be the female in mixed at times, and it is even tougher when you know 95% of the attacks and balls are going to come your way.
It's a silly get from Ben.
Second serve.
Yeah, I mean Tamaryn, she's gotten her feet wet though. She's had a few matches in this with Ben now, and again, she was a high-level tennis player, right? So I mean, to get there, you have to be mentally strong, right? I don't think that there's any lack of mental strength, right, to handle something like that.
Wow,
it's a fun point.
Acrobatic from the men. Oh. point for
Side out.
Carolina. Ben Johns bailing out their team. What a play, what a recovery down the line. That shot from Meghan Dizon probably lands against
0-1-1.
most of the men.
He's such a good mover, such an efficient mover, right? You don't think he's there, and then he is. That's one of his biggest strengths in mixed.
Conventional touch from Zane Navratil. Heavy angle.
Yeah, he's really added that to his game.
0-1-2.
I've seen him hit a lot of angles, and again, getting outside of Ben Johns here is going to be the play. He's
Side
leaning
out.
so hard middle, right, to try and protect Tammy. If you can get outside of him, right, just kind of like Meg tried to do on the previous point,
1-0-1.
good things are going to happen.
Navratil teaches a lot about the game on his YouTube channel. Gives away a lot of free information. Looking to evolve your game.
I think he's happy to not be heads up with Ben here too. The real clear stats guys.
Meghan Dizon trying a lot, saying, whoops.
Yeah, she's been working on that.
Right shot, wrong spot.
It's always the right shot, right, Mish? That's what we say. Always the right
1-0-2.
shot.
How could she have made that a better place?
More topspin and more depth. The apex was like on the kitchen line. It should be apexing.
Point.
Full speed ahead from Zane Navratil.
Yeah, should be peeking up mid-court, but Zane
2-0-2.
with the 1-2 again. His hands have really come along just this past year.
Side out. Zero, 2-1. Second serve.
Tough bag. That one always stings, but as we say,
0-2-2.
stings emotionally more than physically does the pickleball.
Jeez, gets everything back.
That's silly.
Yeah, Zane made the right choice there.
Yeah.
Hit the attacks the other way because Ben is getting everything back.
For sure. Yeah, first two drives actually pretty good, but this third one, Tammy's just not quite, doesn't get her feet set right, reaches for it.
2-0-1.
Not an effective position to hit a drive in, but she does have a great two-y. Zane's just starting to she's starting to pick on her a little bit.
3-0-1.
The men often do in mixed, especially when you've got Ben Johns on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, you're just not going to hit it to him if you don't have to.
It's a nice play by Tammy.
Second serve.
Instigates again. Zane Navratil creates an offensive opportunity for Ben Johns.
3-0-2.
That's nice stuff from Zane Navratil.
Yeah, just hooks it in there. I tell you what, he's been, his serve and his third have really started to show up
4-0-2.
this year.
Wow.
Point.
5-0. 1 point away from the end change.
Yeah, this is tough right now. Hogs are in a bad way right now. I think
5-0-2.
Tammy she doesn't need to engage with Zane, right? She can bump it away from him whenever she wants.
Point. Timeout.
It's
Team
just
Dip.
it's a runaway train right now for
New
the
Jersey
fives.
5.
Welcome back to the action here. Day 4 of 4 from Daytona Beach. The Hogs in some trouble at the
6-0-2.
hands of Zane Navratil, the captain, and Meghan Dizon from the New Jersey Fives. Oh my!
I don't know if that was a winner from Zane or if they called it out.
Yeah,
I think they
was
called
gonna
it
say,
out on the
seemed like the play
baseline.
stopped, but that was a nice fadeaway.
We can pretend like that was in and give Zane the
will.
highlight there.
7-0-2.
Put it on the YouTube channel. 7-0. Oh,
Side out.
Kind of an awkward little fend there from Tammy, but awkward is sometimes effective, apparently. See if Ben tries to force the
0-7-1.
issue here. Just a lot of short points. I mean, half the rallies are under 10 balls, I think. That's not Ben John's style.
it's wide.
Second
But
serve.
It's the same time, right, he wants the patient points, but being in this
0-7-2.
big of a hole, I think he's going to try and force the issue here.
Side out.
Easy finish. Hogs, from Real Clear Stats, have not made it to the kitchen on their serve, if I'm reading this correctly.
Wow.
I'll recall.
Well, that's a problem.
That's a bad recipe for a W.
I'll try it one more time. 7-0-1.
0 for 7.
What a take.
Point.
Zane Navratil. How often do you see Ben Johns in a scramble at the line?
Yeah, again, I mean, Benny feels like he's back against the wall here, right? Down 0-7 already. He's leaning heavy middle. Zane sees that, I think, and takes advantage.
Uh-oh. Nice.
Second
Takes
serve.
it where nobody else is. 8-0-2 now for the Fives.
8-0-2.
Makes it look casual, doesn't he?
Just back.
Side out.
Hogs still alive. Might need a lifeline here.
Yeah, got to get something out of this,
0-8-1.
this possession here.
See if the Hogs don't win this game, their odds of winning this match very, very slim with Waters and Howells
Double bounce.
playing the way that
Second
they have all
serve.
weekend. Although, let's give credit where credit is due. Did lose to the Utah Black Diamonds earlier this event.
0-8-2.
No, Garnett and Elise Jones played really well, but
That was against Howells and Anna Leigh that
Side
created
out.
the equalizer.
it was, and I just want to say, I think AL and Will just fell asleep a little bit, right? They-
8-0-1.
It was the first match of the weekend. Again, credit to Utah, but I don't see them making that same mistake again.
A lob right into the wheelhouse of Ben Johns. All right, diagnose that lob.
I think he not a great position to put it there again. I think
I like that she's throwing it in there.
I love it too, but
it's a good tool to have.
I think Ben just was a little too casual about it.
Point.
And this is
Game point here for the Fives.
it's just kind of a lost game at this point. You can tell in the body
10-0-1.
language of the Hogs that they're ready to get Collin out there. And
Second serve.
High drive through the middle. Ben Johns is on it. Second serve, second game point for
10-0-2.
Zane Navratil. That's back. New Jersey takes game 3. They have a chance to win this in regulation.
last year, that's when I first got to know her. She and Dylan Frazier beat this team to send us to a dream breaker. So Kaitlyn Christian can ball. I'm not saying this is a guarantee here.
Side out.
Collin's been excited about this mixed team too. Like I said, I was in the player room with him
0-0-1.
before this. These two are 3-2 on the weekend. He's definitely excited to continue that, hopefully.
Second serve.
And both of them, again, they're gamers, right?
Yeah.
Kaitlyn Christian, she's not one to back down. Pro tennis, loves the competition, embraces the fight.
That's deep. Well, they,
Side out.
on the other side, Collin Johns and Kaitlyn Christian. One of the teams they took out was Christian
0-0-1.
Alshon and Anatui Onatoa for the Texas Ranchers to get their first win of the season as a team in a dream breaker over Texas, one of the top teams in the league.
Yeah, Etta and Christian were in a final of a Grand Slam.
Man,
Point.
tough bounce off the tape for Kaitlyn Christian. New Jersey will open the scoring there.
Yeah, like I said, I don't, certainly
1-0-1.
fives are favored here, but I'm not saying this is a sure thing.
Nice shot from
Second
Kaitlyn
serve.
Christian.
Yeah, smart, right? When your opponent gets out of position and they're moving
1-0-2.
frantically back in position, good time to attack them.
Side out.
Couple of misses from Will Howells. Ball back to Carolina, and that is what started to happen against Utah
0-1-1.
when this team started to slide.
Yeah, let's have a little sorry partner. And directing traffic there. I've actually never, I was just noticing Anna Leigh was actually telling Will to return to Collin, so they probably want him to stay out of the middle.
Hands.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Silly.
Oh, it's deep. Dynamic points. Carolina ties it early at 1.
Silly D. We all do that, right? You play amazing D, and then you get back to the kitchen, you get to neutral, and then you try and do something special on your own. Will just a little bit excited there, but great pressure from the Hogs.
1-1-2. Side out.
This third from Collin again. He was about 80%. Again, the stats guys sending me stuff. He was about 80% on his thirds. That was well below the other 3 in the men's match. So see if there's any carryover there.
How many did he miss compared to how many he made?
I'm gonna have to dig for that.
Okay. Sequence Waters starts it, Howells ends it.
2-1-1. Point.
Smooth drop from Will Howells, make it 3-1 for the New Jersey Fives.
3-1-1.
Sometimes it's that easy. 80%, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
To answer your question. Which seems obvious since 8 out of 10 is an easy, you know, but I don't know if it was 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 or whatever out of whatever.
4-1-1.
And another one. The New Jersey Fives hit their favorite number in the point column, 1 point away from the end change.
5-1-1.
To the corner, it's in.
Timeout, change
Flip
in.
ends.
6-1-1.
New Jersey. That would put them
6-1-1.
3 points behind the St. Louis Shock in the standings. New Jersey top 3 right now, playing for seeding in the playoffs. If you get to the top 2 positions in the standings, AJ, as you know well, you get a bye into the final rounds in New York. Top 4 teams will advance to that round.
That's where you want to be, right? Central
Side
Park.
out.
Yeah.
City Pickle, it's such an amazing venue. We got to go there last year for the first time, and the turnout was unbelievable.
1-6-1.
Fives were a big part of that, too. He almost got
Second serve.
Great hands from KK. Again, Collin not afraid to go reverse stack here, right? They're putting Collin on the right here. Nothing seemed to be working with him on the left. KK not afraid to play the left either, so.
Howells loaded back up on the speed of attack he knew was coming.
Yeah, trying to change the momentum, but again, Will, the book on Will, we're still all kind of learning what that is, right?
Yeah.
He pulls his tui off his left hip so well. Not a lot of guys do that. It's really unique, so.
Ooh, Christian almost snagged it. What a play by Waters. Goes around the post. 7-1-1 New Jersey.
And in this MLP format, right, you don't get a lot of looks at things, right? We're getting every 4 months you get a look at Mr. Howells, and people still figuring out his game. But again, he also just has a great feel for the sport, I think. So we're excited to have him. I know he's coming to PPA next year, 2026. So we'll get to see
full
the full send, yeah.
Set up from Waters, polished off by Howells. Curious who Will Howells would partner with, both mixed and That's doubles, and also what kind of damage he'll do in men's singles.
Yeah, definitely still young, a high tennis background, Notre Dame, if I'm right. He definitely will get to test himself against the best.
Point.
Big drive for the fives. Match point for New Jersey.
10-1-1.
Nice.
Great recovery, though, from Kaitlyn.
Down it goes. Waters and Howells take it 11-1, and the New Jersey Fives have claimed yet another regulation win and 3 valuable standings points. What jumped out to you about this one, AJ? We welcome you back to MLP Daytona Beach. Sunday night pickleball was a match for the books. The New Jersey Fives beat Ben Johns and the Carolina Hogs in regulation to collect 3 standings points. And the captain, Zane Navratil and Leigh Waters, join us now to talk about it. Zane, we'll save the harder question for last, but first, softball for you. Why did you go with the matchups you did in mixed doubles? Why you and Meg against Ben and Tammy, or was it the beef that you had going into this match?
Well, I mean, we basically wanted to have AL play against. We wanted the challenge, right? We thought it would be fun to play Ben, but we both wanted to play Ben, and Meg and I basically got the nod for that one, and I'm glad that we did. I don't know if
I'm glad
I don't
too.
know if Annalie and Will could have done any better.
Yeah.
Yeah, AL, firstly, I'm just going to say I was a huge fan of the lob on match point. I mean, bravo there. But just tie a bow on this weekend for the Fives, what you're looking forward to, and also tell us what's for dessert tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I told Zane, I think that's the first time I took a ball out of the middle and mixed on my backhand and lobbed. So
She did.
I did that for you, AJ.
Incredible.
But no, I just think this weekend we really bounced back from our loss against the Black Diamonds. We obviously didn't have Meghan, but I really felt like Christa did her part. So just as a team, I think coming in this weekend we had something to prove, and honestly I think it made us play better. Yeah, I mean, we had great team chemistry. Zane was keeping us together. I like, Mish, how you said Captain Zane and Annalie, because he really is the best captain out there, and keeps us all glued together. As for dessert tonight, I don't know. I haven't really thought that far. I was really just this weekend just trying to think about my matches.
She's ditching me for Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, he asked me to go to Ben and Jerry's,
I said, let's
but
go
I'm
to
like,
Ben and Jerry's afterwards. I'm fiending for some fish
I'm
food.
too close to home. I just need to drive and get home. And then once I'm home, I'll probably like DoorDash something unhealthy. Or maybe I'll like be good and eat something healthy. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, at least you're just a short drive away. And
Yep.
Zane, you're known to have opinions in this sport. You're very articulate about those. You have a podcast, a great mind for the game, and you're also very open, i.e. on your recent tweet on Twitter with your opinions. How do you manage that on the court when you're outwardly expressing yourself and certain opinions that might strike other players the wrong way? And then when you have to play against them, how do you manage that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I try to just not say anything that I wouldn't say in person, and I think you're, alluding to a previous MLP where, I didn't think certain players were giving a full effort, and I said as much. It's not something I wouldn't say, but I think we had a very cordial match out there. I don't think Ben and Collin take anything personally. I don't take anything personally, and it's nice to see them, I think, putting in full effort in their matches. So I think the sport is better when everybody on court is trying their absolute hardest.
Well said. Well, congratulations, the New Jersey Fives back in the hunt for the 1 and 2 seed down the stretch. Let's take a look now.